Good morning everyone, today I'm going to be showcasing all of the different katana weapon camos that I have, as well as bow camos, so that you can make the right decision on what weapon camos to pick up. But before I showcase that, if you're new to the channel, I upload PSO2 content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Okay, so the first weapon camo that I'm going to be showing off is a Leaf in the Autumn Breeze. Keep in mind that this can be applied to multiple weapon camos. This bug has been fixed now. So if I go to equip selected item, I can now put it on my sword over here, I can put it on my wired lance, I can put it on every single weapon that I have over here and it will apply the weapon camo. So if we look over here now, you see this my bow, it now has a Leaf in the Autumn Breeze weapon camo, and if we zoom in a little bit, you can see that it looks pretty cool, but most importantly, it is the animations. When you auto attack, you can see you get the little leaf animation and the sound effects. You may have noticed that I have enabled sound effects over here so that you guys can hear the sounds, because each weapon actually does different sounds and has different sound effects. So here's a super charged up arrow, you can see like that, but mainly it's the auto attack because you got the autumn leaves. So now if you look over here, I will switch to my wired lances. You can see my wired lances also have the weapon camo. Switch to my katana over here, and the katana also has the camo. Unfortunately, the katana does not have the autumn leaves when you're attacking, mainly because I think you just attack too fast now with your auto attacks. In the base game, it does have the autumn leaves and has like a red afterglow, which looked really nice. I don't know why it doesn't have that in NGS, unfortunately, but at least the weapon still looks like a katana, looks pretty nice. Now the next katana weapon camo I'm going to be showing off is the Blade of Genesis. So the Blade of Genesis looks like this, you know, it still has the little disc that you're holding and you just pull it out of thin air. Now remember, when you are using the Blade of Genesis, that you do have the little plug at the back, which you can hide. In order to hide it, you press escape, go to gear/sub palette, adjust sheath position, and adjust depth, and pull it all the way to the left so it goes deep, and now it's gone because it is now hidden within your character. So now it looks like you just pull it out of thin air because you don't even have the disc anymore, so that's pretty cool. So this is the Blade of Genesis. Unfortunately, you don't really get to see the blade that much, even when you hold the block button or the weapon action, because all you see is a little ball that you just pull the blade out of. But, you know, I think some people might like this weapon camo. Alright, the next weapon camo I'm showing off is the Ame No Habakiri. This is the unawakened version, so we still have the Divine Blade version, so this is just the regular one. So as you can see here, it's on your back, it looks like a very long sword, and you have the black sheath, and these are your auto attacks. Next up is the Divine Blade Ame no Murakumo, and this is a very nice skin. So you can see that the katana is white, however when you pull it out, the blade is actually red. Unfortunately, the attack is very fast, and when you do hold down your weapon action, you have the sheath in as well, so you don't really get to see or appreciate the blade that much unless you have a katana pose. Unfortunately, I don't have any katana poses because I didn't scratch for those. However, you can see here on the weapon picture that the blade is actually blood red, which is really cool. Alright, the next weapon camo I'm showing off is the Apocalypse Staff Requiem. So you can see over here, you can hear that it makes a different sound effect. So you do have this effect around your hands, which is sort of like sakura blooms when you pull them out. You see, it's very sparkly, pink and shiny and everything. And the auto attacks, you can hear that it sounds pretty nice. Alright, the next weapon camo I'm going to show off is the Coated Sabre. So here it is. Looks okay. Very arcs themed. Very nice. Alright, the next weapon camo I'm showing off is the Yonohate Confined. So as you can see, it's got like this giant arcs warning thing on, and then you pull out a katana out of it. It is pretty cool. And if you block, you do block with the entire case as well. So all of the weapon camos I have shown up to this point you can get for free in base PSO2. I have made videos about this. A Leaf in the Autumn Breeze you get at the Red Light District at the Exchange Shop. As for the Yonohate Confined, the Blade of Genesis, Ame no Habakiri, Divine Blade, as well as Coated Sabre. You can get all of these weapon camos at Ziggs. And the Apocalypse Staff Requiem, you can get this with your C Selector ticket that you got for free for completing the story. You get 6 of these tickets, which allow you to pick any item that you want in the SG scratch on base PSO2. You can select this camo, which actually applies to a lot of different weapons as well, not only the katana. From this point onwards, all of the weapon camos I'm going to be showing off can be purchased in the player shop or cannot be obtained anymore because they were previous event rewards or they were mission pass rewards. So the first one is going to be, of course, the Rainbow Blade. So this is the Rainbow Blade. It looks exactly like the sword version. However, something that may bother you, or at least it bothers me, is when you sheath the weapon. So you can hear the sound effect is different, but there is no sheath. So just putting it back into your hand, that bothers me a lot. That's why I don't use the Rainbow Blade on my katanas anymore. So the Rainbow Blade can be obtained through the player shop. Next up is the Crowbar. I do not know if you can obtain this weapon camo anymore. The way I got it was when I linked my Microsoft account with the Steam account and I got the Crowbar weapon camo for free. I don't know if you still get it, if you do so now, but this is what the Crowbar looks like. Kind of weird how the Crowbar can extend so far. It doesn't look that long, but the auto attack range is pretty long. Next up is the Zeinesis weapon series. So I think you can obtain this from the player shop, or you could also obtain it from Ziggs maybe? I'm not 110% sure, but you can see that when you attack with this weapon, there's a symbol. Whenever you unsheath your weapon, boom, you get that really cool green symbol around you, and the weapon is also very glowy. You've got these green particles around you, and when you sheath, you also get that green symbol. Next up is the Divine Blade. This is the weapon camo that I use in a lot of my videos. When you unsheath the weapon, you get the beautiful wings as well as a bunch of feathers that flow around you. And when you sheath the weapon, you get the wings again. It's very, very beautiful. I really like this weapon camo. Kind of reminds me of Excalibur. You can buy this on the player shop in base PSO2. Next up is Asuna's Rapier. This was an exclusive reward if you completed the Sword Art online collaboration back on base PSO2. So you can no longer obtain this item because it is not tradable. So if you have it, you have it. If you don't, unfortunately, you can't get this. But this is what it looks like. It looks exactly like how Asuna holds her saber in the anime. You pull it out, and this is how it is in the sheath. Very, very nice. And this is the sound. So it sounds a little bit different than your regular katana. Next up is the Soul Blade Yukihime, and this is one of my favorite katanas. As you can see on the hilt, there is like a little snowflake. It really matches very well with my whole snowflake effect, and you can see here. Sounds a little bit more subtle, a little bit more elegant. The next weapon camo I'm showing off is Liberation. This again is not a tradable item, so if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. This is a very nice weapon camo. It doesn't look that amazing when it's sheathed. However, when you pull it out for the very first time, you can see it glows dark. It's like an evil possessed sword. It's got lightning effects around it. And when you attack, you can see on the ground there is this red element or red afterglow. And you see a lot of, after effects of those lightning attacks or lightning effects. It's pretty cool. I'll unsheath it one more time. You can see there, very, very nice. And one more from the front. Next up is the Astokrone. This is currently my favorite katana camo. You can get this off the player market if you want. And the thing I like about it is it doesn't clip through my character's hair. But more importantly, it has a really cool sound effect when you unsheath the sword. You hear that? It's kind of electricity, Raiden type of feel. Let's hear that unsheath one more time. Very, very nice. Very satisfying. Next up is the Grim Assassin. I do not know where I got this weapon camo. Honestly, I forgot. But this weapon camo looks pretty StarCraft 2-ish. So when it's sheathed, it kind of looks like just a regular sword or like a toothpick or saber. But when you pull it out, now it starts glowing blue and it's activated and it's very, very pretty. And when you sheath it, it disappears. And that is the sound effect. Very nice blade. Next up is the Lumiere Fonse. This weapon camo is pretty cool, kind of gives off like some Kingdom Hearts vibes. I kind of like how this has like a little moon at the side on the chain. You know, it's kind of connected to the hilt of the sword, which is pretty cool. But the unsheathing sound of this weapon is freaking amazing. Listen to this. Sounds really, really magical. I like it quite a lot. And this is when the weapon is in your hand. Very, very nice. I quite like the sound effect. And this is the auto attack sounds. Sounds a lot heavier. Sounds a little bit more like a sword and less like a katana, but then again, it kind of looks like a sword, right? And last but not least, of course, we have to look at Kirito's dual blades. So unfortunately with the katana, he only pulls out one of the blades. So he only pulls out the dark colored one, I don't know what the name is, and he leaves in the sheath the turquoise or the blue colored one. So he only uses one sword here. And that is the attack animation or the sound. Nothing very, very special. However, remember, this weapon camo is only obtainable if you did the Sword Art Online collaboration back in base PSO2. Alright, next up we're going to be looking at the bow camos. Unfortunately, I don't have that many bow camos because the bow was not a very good weapon back in base PSO2, at least during the early days of the game. So I think I just kind of trashed all of my weapon camos, unfortunately. So I don't have that many. However, don't forget, a Leaf in the Autumn Breeze works on all weapons other than the summoner weapon. So this again is a Leaf in the Autumn Breeze. So here we go. Again, you get the very, very beautiful maple leaves and the sound effect of the triple fire or rapid fire. Very nice. Next up is the Zeinesis weapon. It looks like a T, but this is the sound effect. Kind of like an energy bow, pretty interesting. This is how it looks when it's charged up. And then let's look at the flex arrow at max. So this is the flex arrow at max. Very nice. Next up is the Gyoku Maizuru. This weapon can be obtained by killing the silver dogs or the gold dogs in base PSO2. They have a chance of dropping this weapon camo, so if you just want to farm for it, you can do so in base game. And this is how the bow looks like. Looks like a traditional bow, very, very vanilla, nothing very special. This is the sound effects. Very nice. You even have a quiver on your back, and this is the flex arrow. Boom. Very, very nice. Boom. And last but not least, this is my favorite bow weapon camo, and it is called Heavenly Insight. Unfortunately, this was only obtainable through a mission pass back in base PSO2, so they might bring this back in fall when they reintroduce the mission pass in New Genesis. But as you can see, there is no weapon on your back. It is literally this little Dragon Ball over here, and then when you unsheath the weapon, watch this. You literally just summon it. And here's the bow. Very, very nice bow. Looks like one of those traditional Japanese bows for like long range archery. Very nice. That is the sound effect. And let's look at the flex arrow. This maximum charge flex arrow. I feel like it looks much nicer like this because of how big the bow is. Very nice. And that is the sheath animation right there. You put it behind your back and boop, it becomes the Dragon Ball once more. Very, very nice. Now, this is not a complete video of all the different katana weapon camos or bow weapon camos. There are more out there. These are just the ones that I have. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. And that concludes today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!